Okay, go.
Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. Helping Parents Heal goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. Helping Parents Heal affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at all meetings is voluntary. All discussions that take place at affiliate-led meetings are confidential. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of Helping Parents Heal meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with our children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. And I just want to take a moment to let everyone know, if you don't know about this already, Elizabeth has created a wonderful Helping Parents Heal online store. It has so many wonderful items, including some new holiday ornaments that she designed, t-shirts, sweatshirts, yoga pants, hats. She even has an apron now. It's just wonderful. And so many people have asked how they can support Helping Parents Heal. Support us by visiting the store, purchase some items. Also, if you feel so inclined, do a birthday fundraiser for Helping Parents Heal on Facebook. That would be wonderful. So thank you. And I believe Elizabeth will put the link for the store in the chat, but I believe it's helpingparentshealstore.com. Okay, back to you, Elizabeth.
Yes, it is. And thank you so much for all of that, Irene. And I'm just going to copy the hyperlink so that it's easier to get to, because unfortunately, it's not a hyperlink unless I put the other stuff at the beginning. And I want to go ahead and introduce Carol, who is not only just an incredible shining light mom, but she's also a friend, and I feel very grateful to know her. And she's also a talented writer. She not only wrote her own book about Tyler, and she started that before this other book that we wrote about life to afterlife, Mom, Can You Hear Me?, the documentary. And she has a chapter in there as well. And I'm just going to read her very short bio. Carol Allen was born in Ohio and moved to Arizona when she was 13. She has 3 sisters and has an exceptionally close relationship with her entire family, and I can attest to that. They're an amazing family. In 1986, she met Tony Allen and then married in March of 1990. They have lived a beautiful life together and raised their 2 boys, TJ and Tyler, in Cave Creek, Arizona. Carol has been a real estate agent for over 25 years. She is also a certified yoga instructor and practices meditation regularly. In addition to being a wife and mother, one of her greatest pleasures comes from being a volunteer. She's the Cave Creek affiliate leader, caring listener, and board member for Helping Parents Heal. Her focus is to help others move forward following the passing of a child, which is one of life's most significant challenges. As an affiliate leader, Carol runs a support group that meets monthly. She also manages an online book club that meets quarterly, enabling members from all over the world to attend. And so without further ado, and I believe that Carol will also be speaking about the presentation that she did for our conference because she spoke at our conference a couple months ago. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming beautiful Carol Allen. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth and Irene. I'm so grateful and honored to be here. Thank you all for being here tonight. As Elizabeth said, my husband is Tony. We've been married for 32 years. We raised our two boys, TJ and Tyler. TJ is currently 30. Tyler is forever 19. He passed away in a motorcycle accident when a woman had cut in front of him and they collided. That was May of 2015. A little about me. I was raised Catholic and really attended Catholic schools all the way until high school. And then when we moved here, I did go to public high school. But even with that foundation, the older I got, you know, as I've said, I really stopped believing in anything other than this physical world, this physical realm. And the one thing I can tell you about a belief in nothing is it comes with an incredible fear of death. So obviously I no longer have a fear of death. But let me tell you a little bit about Tyler. And I bet when I talk about Tyler, many of you will say, oh my goodness, that sounds just like my son, or that sounds just like my daughter. Because one thing that I have discovered on this journey over the last 7 years with so many of the parents that I've met and just listening to them talk about their kids are, you know, these kids are bigger than life. They are everyone's best friend. They are the cheerleader for the underdog. They are full of compassion. They are full of love. They are full of light. I always say they're evolved souls. And that was Tyler. I'm gonna put a picture of him on here just so I could show my beautiful, beautiful boy. And I could tell you that although I think he's incredibly handsome, he is even more beautiful on the inside. I mean, I used to say, gosh, if I knew I could have, they were all like Tyler, I could have 10 kids, just an absolute sweetheart. But let me tell you a little bit about the morning of May 13th. That was the morning of Tyler's accident. I woke up that morning with a lot of anxiety. And I remember even waking up in the middle of the night thinking, boy, when I get to work tomorrow, I need to organize my files. I just need to organize my files just in case someone needs to cover for me, which is strange because I had no vacations planned. I'm very rarely ever sick. So, but I was obsessed with this. I went to work that morning and I spent the first couple hours just putting everything in order, which it's not a coincidence that I didn't work again for a year after that day. Tyler also that morning sent me a text message. And here's this text message. I'm going to click on that, pick on that. Let's see. I did so good about getting all of this and now I'm well, his text message, and it's here, it said, love you, mama. And it had a smile. Okay, here we go. How strange that now I don't see his text message. Anyway, it said, I love you, mama. Have a great day. And it had a smiley face. And the crazy thing is, Tyler, I'll go back to Tyler. Tyler always said he loved me. That was not unusual at all. I mean, he always said he loved me. We are a family that ends every conversation with, I love you. You know, we walk away and we tell each other we love each other. But that particular day, just to send me a random text at 7:19 in the morning, just wasn't, you know, it was unusual just to say, I love you. Now, why? Because his soul knew. I said his soul knew. As a human, he did not know, but his soul said, call your mama and tell her you love her. And that's, or he'd not call me, send her a text, just a random text. And he'd also months earlier made a comment to me. He said, it was about a little gal that he was starting to date. He said, I don't know that I want her to be my last girlfriend. And I remember thinking, that was such an odd statement. And I looked at him and I said, your last girlfriend, you're 19. Do you think you need to marry this girl? And I remember the look on his face. It's funny because I know Tyler reminded me of this, and Tyler put so many thoughts in my head afterwards, but all of a sudden he looked at me and he said, yeah, that was a weird thing to say, huh? He goes, I don't have to marry her. Again, it wasn't a coincidence. His soul knew, which leads me to our soul plan, which is, for me, has been such an important part of my healing journey. And people will say, well, why? I mean, I believe that nothing could have changed the outcome. I think these kids come to make a significant impact in a short amount of time, and then they go home. Just as Elizabeth has always said, our kids are home and we are still in school. And, you know, again, I've heard people say, well, what difference does it make whether it's part of the plan or not? Well, for me, and I never ever tell people how to think or feel. This is everything I'm speaking about comes from my truth. And I think we all need to find our own truth. But for me, first of all, as parents, aren't we supposed to protect our kids? And regardless of how they pass, you know, as parents, do you know how I felt by thinking I let him leave college and go to MMI, Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. My husband and I bought him his own motorcycle. I thought, I even had parents early on when I told them how Tyler passed, they would say, oh, I would never let my child ride a motorcycle. You should never have let him. But you know what? Because I know that this was part of the plan, and trust me, I've had so many validations from Tyler, from mediums. This is my truth. It wouldn't have mattered. And so I don't have any guilt. You know, I let go of that guilt that I felt early on, feeling like I didn't protect my son. And secondly, I released the whole victim. I mean, early in my journey, I don't know if you all feel this way, but of course it was like, why me? Why Tyler? I'm a good mom. He's an amazing kid. He loved life. And I just, you know, we could fall into that victim mode. And, but when we dig deep down and we realize that there's such a bigger picture here, and we really work on that, and trust me, it does not happen overnight. It takes work and it takes learning. But when we realize that there is a bigger picture here and there are lessons to be learned, and we won't understand everything until we are with them. But I trust that that I'm here. There's a reason I'm here, and Tyler and I agree to this. And I have learned and I have grown, and again, I have zero fear of death. But of course, shortly after he passed, once the shock wore off, you know, at this point, I didn't believe in anything. So I thought, my son is gone. I'm never going to see him. And my older son lived in California. I mean, he was home for the services, but then he went back. And of course, I fell into a rabbit hole. I was devastated. I felt like I had no will to live. I thought, I'm not going to see my son again. How am I going to go on? And I know Tyler is trying to get through to me, because I do remember things. I do remember things that I just ignored in the beginning because I just didn't believe. It's so hard to retrain your thinking when you know you thought one way for so many years. But one of the gals that he was very close to and that he had dated, she struggled a great deal, and her and I we're still very, very close. she would come over, and she told me one day that she just needed to get away. And she said, I'm going to go to I went to Flagstaff with my girlfriend. And she said, when they were driving to Flagstaff, she said she suddenly smelled Tyler's cologne in her car. And she said it was overpowering, but yet her friend didn't smell it. She said, my friend, she said, do you smell that? And she said she didn't smell it. Well, a few minutes later, they went into a random shopping center. And she said, Carol, I pulled in, and she said, and this is what we saw. I don't know if you could see it. It's written in chalk. It says Tyler lives. So of course I said, oh my God, that's incredible. But there's that skeptic brain of mine that's still, and I'm thinking, well, it's written in chalk. Maybe her friend wrote it to try to make her feel better when she turned the corner. Like I said, it's hard to break those old thought patterns. But there it was. So a couple weeks later, another one of his friends goes to California and makes a wrong turn. And when they made the wrong turn, this is what they saw. Tyler lives on a billboard. Now I'm starting to pay attention. And I know Tyler now. Oh, and the kids had posted it on social media. I took that picture off of social media. It says, oh, hi, Ty, I see you. And now I'm starting to pay attention, and I'm starting to notice things that were happening. And it was certainly helping me. So I thought, okay, I've got to get myself up and moving and out of this bed. And I wanted so desperately to believe that he was with me and that there was more. So I finally ventured to the grocery store for the first time. I hadn't been into the grocery store in months. My poor husband just was so worried about me. He was doing everything. All the things that I would normally do, he was doing for me. And I think anyone who had their child living at home, and Tyler left college and moved home when he was going to MMI, will probably agree how hard it is just to go to the grocery store. I mean, everything is a reminder. My meals revolved around what Tyler loved to eat. I'd pack his lunch for him. But I got in my car and I thought, okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go to a different grocery store, which is kind of funny because they all carry the same things. But I thought anything to make this less familiar. So I went to a completely different store that I don't go to. And when I got in the car, my music, my phone, my purse, I could hear music playing out of my purse. My phone was sitting next to me, and I pulled over and I pulled it out, and my iPad was in there, and it was just playing this random song. It wasn't on my playlist. My Pandora wasn't on. I truly have no idea where this song was coming from. I was trying to figure it out, and I still cannot. I couldn't find the song. I just remember some of the words. It was saying, I'll dance with you. I'll be happy with you. Anyway, so I'm listening to this, and then it just stopped. So I tucked my iPad back in, and I proceeded to go to the grocery store. And once I got there, I made my way in, and like I said, it was a completely different location, it's a completely different store. And I started walking up the aisles and loading my cart, and I got to the aisle where the chips were. And my eyes went directly to Tyler's favorite chips. And instantly I envisioned him as he used to open the face of his sandwich and just stack those chips inside of his sandwich. And I used to laugh at him and say, you're so funny that you eat potato chips in your sandwich. But he would be saying, oh, it's just delicious this way. So as soon as I saw these chips, I immediately felt this tidal wave coming. And I just, I started to tear up, and there was no one in this aisle but me. And all of a sudden, this bag of chips just falls off the shelf and lands right at my feet. And I just remember looking up and just saying, oh my God, I love you, Tyler. So then I made my way to the deli. And when I got to the deli, and I'm going to show you the picture, I started looking at all the deli meats. And all of a sudden, I looked at the deli meats, and I looked to the right corner. I see Tyler's name. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me. So when the woman walked over to me, she said, "Can I help you, ma'am?" And I just looked at her and I said, "Why does it say Tyler?" And she said, she kind of gave me this look, and she said, "Excuse me?" And I said, "I'm sorry, but why does it say Tyler on the glass?" It's actually etched in the glass. And she said, I don't know. And I said, "Well, can you ask? Can you find out?" I don't know why I was so desperate to know, but she turned around and she asked the lady behind her, and the lady said, I don't know, maybe I think it's the name of the glass company. But I left that grocery store and I got in my car, and all I could see was that woman's face when I asked her why it said Tyler. And I just started to laugh out loud to myself. I was literally couldn't stop laughing. For the first time, I'm laughing. And I'm sure you've all experienced that, where something was funny and then you keep thinking about it and you keep laughing. So it was like I just started filling up with this joy. I'm thinking, he is here. He is not gone. So then I thought it was time to reach out. It was time to reach out. And I found I reached out to Elizabeth Bassan, which is kind of funny because I did not know who she was. I had no idea that she was, the president of Helping Parents Heal. I knew nothing about her. The only thing I knew is that she came to this Tyler service because her daughter knew Tyler. And she introduced herself to me. And all she said was, "My son passed away. Here's my card, and you may need help. So please reach out to me when things settle down." I knew nothing about her. I had no idea what she would say. And ironically, I had a lot of moms in the community that I didn't know that well, but that had their kids pass away. But I immediately thought of Elizabeth. And again, that's not a coincidence. Tyler set this up. He knew how badly I needed her. And I'm so, I always tell her she's been my earth angel. But Elizabeth validated everything for me. I started telling her about what was happening, and she started telling me about Helping Parents Heal, and that they had this group, and it was incredible. So I believed her. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm not losing my mind. It's Tyler. He's here. And so I decided that I was on a mission. I was going to learn everything that I could about the afterlife, and I was going to find Tyler and find out where he was and what was going on and how I could connect to him, because Elizabeth had told me that I can connect to him. So in addition to reading probably hundreds of books and reading about near-death experiences and afterlife, I learned how to use a pendulum. I tried everything. I did automatic writing. I tried mirror gazing. I had heard James Van Praagh talk about mirror gazing, and it works. It works. Believe it or not, it does work. For me, it works, and I know it could work for all of us if we practice. But and meditation. And it's funny because I'll hear people, as a caring listener, I talk to so many, and I'll tell people, you need to meditate. And then they'll say, I don't know how. It's so hard. I can't meditate. I can't. It's not hard. It really isn't. What I did is, in the beginning, I would do guided meditations. But now I put hemisync music on Pandora. And I prefer that because I don't want to think. I'd rather just focus on the music. And there's something in the hemisync music that it alters our frequency. And so what I would do is I would start off, I would go in Tyler's room and I would light a candle, and I would set a timer for maybe 3 minutes. And I just close my eyes, and meditation is just focusing. So we don't have a monkey mind. So we'd stop all the chatter in our heads. And I would just listen to the music. And it just sounds like Sometimes it sounds like the ocean. It sounds like yoga music, very soft and gentle. And every time my mind would start to wander, I just bring it back to the music. And I did this every day. And I started trying to, increase a few minutes at a time. And sometimes, and it doesn't happen all the time. It's really only happened, occasionally, but I would almost go into that state of wakefulness and just right before you fall asleep. And that's when you feel like you really can feel your kids, and you feel like you can touch them, you can feel them. And but what I always tell people is, even if that doesn't happen, there's still such a benefit to meditation, because I read that it opens that space. As we can sit in that stillness, in that silence, it opens that headspace. And when we can open that headspace, that's when we get our messages. That's when we can connect easier, when we sit in the stillness. And then I'm telling you, I started to hear him all the time. I constantly would hear Tyler. He gives me messages all day long. And even after 7 years, I had such a fear that as time would go on, I would lose that connection. It's stronger than ever. And an example was when I had a friend in town who was here. Let me find that one. I had a friend in town who was visiting, and we passed a subdivision, and I had just been showing homes in that subdivision days earlier. And I said to my friend, oh my gosh, you see this subdivision? I have a client currently who is absolutely driving me crazy. I'm at the breaking point, and it takes a lot to get me there. And right as I say this to her, there's the car that's right beside me, and it literally just kind of comes right in front of me. And then the light turns red, and we stop at the light. And this is what the license plate in front of that car says: walk away. And it was just so funny. My friend and I we both just started to laugh. She said, obviously, Tyler is giving you a clear message. So it's interesting how, if we just pay attention and open ourselves up, they are constantly talking to us. He is constantly talking to me. I get the number 11 all the time. I mean, I tell people, I look at my phone, light is red, and it's at 11%. And, recently I was talking to him, because I talk to him all day long when I'm in the car, and I'm in the car a lot. And I was talking to him, and, I see this truck that's right in front of me, 7/8/11. Well, Tyler's birthday is 7/8, July 8th. And again, he's just validating to me that, Mom, yes, I give you the 11, and it's me. And I think the most important thing is to trust these messages. We need to trust these messages. The more we trust them, the more we hear them. And even mediums. I mean, I read a book, Demystifying Mediumship. And one of the things they said is, mediums know, they trust the messages, but what helps them trust the messages is the sitter. The more readings they do, they say what they hear, and then the sitter validates it. So I trust the messages when I get them from Tyler. And a lot of times I know it's not me, because it's nothing I would have said or nothing I would have thought. And again, many, many times he validates it for me. And TJ, my son TJ, was living in California, and he had a roommate. He had a 2-bedroom apartment, and he needed to move out because his roommate was leaving and he couldn't afford it. So I went to California for a few days, And while we were there, I mean, we spent every moment trying to find him an affordable apartment that was decent. We couldn't find anything. And by the second day, we were walking to the car, and I was leaving the next day. And I said, you know, maybe you just need to rent a room from somebody until you find something or figure something out. Right at that moment, I look, and there's a sign in front of a big apartment complex that says newly renovated unit. And TJ starts to dial the phone. And right as he starts to dial the phone, a car pulls up right beside us and rolls down his window, and he says, "Do you want to see the unit?" And I wanted to say, ask him how much it is. I was exhausted and I didn't want to walk through another overpriced unit. But before I had a chance to say, ask him how much it is, I immediately heard Tyler. And he said, "Mama, tell TJ this is the one." So I shut up and I said nothing. And the guy parked his car. We followed him up to this apartment complex. And we walked in, and it was perfect. I mean, it was remodeled, the price was right, and TJ secured the unit. A few months later, he had a gal come visit him who he's very close to, and she's also very, very close to Tyler. And when they were coming home from dinner one evening, she says to TJ, "Oh my God, look at the pipe above your car." In this apartment complex, they have a designated parking space and they have underground parking. So this is what the pipe said. I don't know if you could see it. Tyler upside down. I have another picture where somehow they got it so that you can see it better. Right above his car, he's got that little white Jetta that you saw in the last picture. And he called me after he saw this. And he said to me, "Mom, you are not going to believe this." And my son TJ does not like to talk about signs. He just, you know, you may have found this with some of your siblings. They want to live life as normal as possible, but he couldn't help himself. He called me and he said, "You're not going to believe this, Mom." He said, "The pipe above my car says Tyler." And he said, "We have cased the entire garage. There is not the only place that says Tyler is right above my car." And he said, "You're right. This unit was meant for me." So again, I trusted Tyler and I heard him, and it was meant for him. And I don't try to convince others. I used to feel like I wanted to tell my friends that aren't part of the group, and I don't need to do that anymore because I don't need to be validated from others. I like to tell my Helping Parents Heal family because they know it's real, especially if you've been on this journey and you listen to parents, you know this is real. We continue that relationship with our kids. And I live with him. I say I live with Tyler in the present. I continue my relationship with him in the present. I cherish the past. Sometimes the memories are painful, but I cherish it. But I will tell people, especially, newer on the journey, the past could be painful. The future causes anxiety and pain because there's he would be doing this or she would be doing this. Although I've heard Tyler and he has said to me, "Mom, I'm doing everything I would be doing there and more." So I continue that relationship with him in the present. And the bottom line is we don't know from one minute to the next what life holds. And even if I'm here for another 30 or 40 years, 7 years is gone by that quick. It's like a minute. And I know that we're going to all be together before we know it. So that's really important to me, is just to focus on the present. And, you know, within a year and a half, I went from feeling like I couldn't, you know, I had no will to live, believing in nothing, to helping parents heal meetings, and just short of 2 years. And I will tell you that helping people, giving someone hope is so fulfilling. And I've come to learn that I believe that that's really what life is all about. It's about love, and it's about helping others. And that's all of our purpose. You know, we are all here for that. And whether you feel like you found your purpose or not, there's a reason. If you're still here, you have a purpose. But I can tell you, if you get to a place where you feel like you can just, you know, help somebody, you will find such joy and fulfillment in that. We really find, and it just gets better and better. And I know that Tyler loves to see me happy. We honor Tyler. We honor Tyler always. We have a chair for him at every holiday. We have a chair. My nephew recently got married, and we put a wooden sign, and we put a chair right up front. It says, I'm in heaven for your birthday, so what will I do? I'll come down and spend the day with you. And we have this beautiful sign. And for my nephew's wedding, we left an empty chair right at the front, and we put this sign. And I know that he sees it, and I know that he loves it. We've also chosen to have an annual hike for him. We've been doing that. We took a few years off with COVID. When we get to the top, for years we would release biodegradable balloons, but then I found out that even though they're biodegradable, it's bad for the birds and for the animals. So now we wave these ribbons. They're kind of like, you know, they're the colors of the sunset. Well, we chose orange and yellow, and they're little streamers, and we wave them at the top. But when we did do a balloon one year, I'm going to show you this picture. The balloon formed a heart. I don't know if you see the heart. When I look at that, the heart is clear as day. But I snapped just a random picture of the balloon release, and there it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful heart. So, I mean, we can't make this stuff up. There's just been so much. I talk to him, I Snapchat him. That's another thing I do. I write him letters, and I never did Snapchat, but he did. So I still have his Snapchat account, and I write to him on Snapchat. I almost every day, every other day, I'll just put, I love you, you know, thank you for the sign today. You know, I ask him for help, but once in a while, and I'll show you this. Once in a while, when I Snapchat him, he opens them. There it is, opened. It doesn't happen often. It's happened 2 or 3 times, but they're around. They're constantly around. And, you know, they love what we do for them. They love continuing our relationship. And like I said, I know that we will be together that quick. So I don't know what time it is.
Well, I would love to ask a few questions. First of all, people are
Sure.
asking about the HemiSync meditations that you do. Do you have any that you specifically would recommend that maybe we could put in the chat box? And do they cost money? I found one online that's free of charge. I know that Suzanne Giesman records HemiSync meditation as well, and I'm not sure how much that costs, but I'm sure it's absolutely wonderful. But do you have any?
Well, what I do, I don't have a particular one. I just have Pandora. The only thing I pay for, and I did this because of the meditation, is I pay, I think it's like $3 a month so that I don't get ads. Because if I'm in the middle of a meditation and an ad pops up, it could be a little disruptive. But I just go to Pandora and I just put in the search bar HemiSync and I hit play, and it's free. Like I said, the only thing I pay the $3 for is just to eliminate any ads, so the music is continuous. But no, not any particular one. I just play whatever, whatever there. I just hit play, and it just like any other station on Pandora, and it works. I mean, it's my favorite way to meditate, because I would rather just keep bringing myself back to the music than focusing on the breath. I find it more relaxing to.
Well, we have Judy Hancock's on here tonight, who has recorded some herself with binaural beats.
Mhm.
And maybe she could tell us a little bit more about how that works. Would you like to just explain that, Judy? Do you have time to, maybe if I ask you to unmute, to tell a little bit about that? And so Judy's birthday was yesterday. She's also one of our affiliate leaders because she helps with Xiaomi healing. And so maybe you could talk a little bit more about this type of meditation. Judy, could you do that?
Sure. Hi, I'm sorry, I'm a little blurry. That's my lighting here. I wasn't expecting to speak, but yes. So there's music with bilateral beats that alternate the right brain and left brain just by having a little drum beat or a little sound stimulation where it alternates. And if people email me, I'm trying to set it up on my website. I have a binaural or bilateral brain stimulation called Angelic C that really, it was given to the musician who made it for me from the angels. And so he called it Angelic C, and it's beautiful. So that's free. You just email me and I will, through Brian Smith helped me set it up through Google, that I can just send you the link. So it'll be on my website soon. I'm trying to work with my website designer to just have a free link there. So that's, but basically it alternates your brain waves. So you're not thinking too much. Your left brain is where all the logical reasoning thoughts, the linear, L for linear left brain, where it's just language. And there's no creativity. It's just thoughts from the thought field. Your right hemisphere and all the areas of the other brain and our whole soul is where the creativity is, and where there's no language. It's just our soul, and music is part of it. It takes you into the realm of heaven. So when you stimulate the right brain and left brain alternately with the beats on the music, it just brings you into the center of yourself, where you're not thinking and you're not feeling, because the right brain is also all the emotions. So when it's stimulating evenly, right, left, it takes you into the center brain, where it opens up and you can really feel peace. So that's why it's so effective. So any music that has the beats, and you can also alternate, when we do it at the Xiaomi Healing, I have people just tapping their shoulders, right, left, any bilateral beats gives you bilateral brain stimulation that helps you go into a peaceful state of mind.
Thank you. That's wonderful to know. And it's great that you have one that's available to be downloaded. So we will make sure to let everybody know once that's available through Brian Smith as well. And thank you for talking about that, Judy. And lots of people are saying happy birthday to you. So happy
Thank you.
one day late. And Carol's birthday was just recently too. So you guys must be both Scorpios, which is wonderful. So anyway, so Carol, tell us a little bit more. We have questions in here as well about we get a lot of questions every time about the fact that there is a lot of guilt around having a child pass. And we have one mom specifically who's talking about the fact that maybe she could have done something differently to keep her baby alive. Could you address that for people, just so that you can reassure them that?
Sure, absolutely. Again, regardless of how our children have passed, regardless of the circumstances, even a suicide, because I've known people will say, well, how could suicide be well, it was an exit point. I mean, I think Elizabeth has said this, there's wiggle room. It doesn't mean it's on, Tyler's passing was May 14th, 2015. But it doesn't mean it was definitely, but they chose to come and exit early. Tyler had some earlier exit points. I believe that there's a reason that your baby, and I don't know when she passed, but they come, I think our kids are our biggest teachers. They are our biggest teachers. And whether they're here for a day or whether they're here for, Tyler was here almost 20 years. He was 2 months short of 20. I believe that they came for a reason. And look at the things that come out of, the beautiful things that come out of some of these tragedies. Now, don't get me wrong. I know we would all give everything back. I would go back to being a hypochondriac, terribly afraid to die, if I could have Tyler back, but I can't, I don't have that option. So I've chosen to look at the collateral beauty, and there is so many good things, and there's nothing you could have done to have your baby stay, because that was, I believe that was 100% part of her soul plan. Tyler, one of the things, months before his accident, back in February 20th of 2015, and I know the date because he tweeted something. That evening, he came home to tell my husband and I that he thought he was going to be in a motorcycle accident that day. He said, I thought I was going down. He said, honestly, I have no idea how I didn't hit this woman. That's all he said. And I said, I can't even listen. You're scaring me to death. Just, I hope it taught you to be careful. Well, after he passed away, my sister said, did you see what Tyler tweeted on? And I said, no, I really wasn't active on Twitter. And I did put this in my book. I showed a picture of the tweet. I like to show the evidence, but he tweeted F, and I won't use the word, but F the bee that almost killed me. And this is where it gets crazy. He said, at Pinnacle Peak and Cave Creek, learn how to drive. Now that's exactly the same intersection that his accident happened. He didn't tell us that day that that's where it was. But when I saw that, I remember saying, because I was with my whole family, we were together a lot early on. I said to my dad, because I have so much respect for him, and he didn't used to believe in anything. I said, do you think that this was Tyler's way of letting us know this was part of the plan? And my dad said, no, I think it was just a strange coincidence. And at that exact moment, my niece Rachel, who was with us, said, I don't know why, but I just logged on to Facebook, and the very first thing she saw on her news feed was from Renee Breen. I think, is it Renee Breen? Anyway, it said, some things are too strange and too powerful to be a coincidence. It was, and I remember she said, oh my God, look at this. And she showed my dad, her grandpa, and said, look at this, Papa. And we all just sat there in disbelief. And then to get even better than that, I had a reading with Kat Bailey. Well, actually, it was my nephew that had the reading with her. It's kind of like all of our readings, because we record all these and we all listen to it. But my nephew had a reading, and Kat Bailey said to my nephew, and this is, nobody knew. She was not part of Helping Parents Heal at the time. She was very new. And he said that this was, and every medium has said this to me, he said that this was part of the plan. And you'll know what he means. Or she said he tweeted something and he says you will know what he means. And I mean, it's just, there's been, to me, there's so much proof. I hate to tell somebody I know, because obviously I'm human. I can't say, but I know for me, that's my truth. There's nothing we could do. There's a reason things happen the way they happen, whether it's a suicide, whether it is an accident. I believe it's a sickness. I think when these kids choose, like Carly, to come, I mean, though, what a beautiful person, the suffering she chose, but look how much research is done for cancer. I mean, that's how I feel. I just think that you need to trust that there's nothing you could have done, and holding on to guilt. First of all, there's no guilt to be held on to, but it serves absolutely no purpose.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk about some indisputable signs that you've had, maybe, if that's okay. One of them had to do with Tony's helmet right at the service. And then the other one, and I don't think you probably have these ready as pictures, but the other one
The dog
was
dish?
dog. Yes.
I have the dog dish.
Oh,
I just put it on there, but I thought I would wait to see how much time we had.
oh, okay.
I don't have Tyler's, but I have another picture with Tyler's face. But at the service, Tony rode Tyler's motorcycle, and a picture was taken of him. And on his helmet, and my son discovered this. My son asked me to look at this photo of my husband. And when I expanded the helmet, and this was a full body picture of my husband, but when I expanded the helmet, I saw Tyler's reflection. I mean, it was clear as day. It was so clear that I thought somebody photoshopped somehow. I mean, this was early on. And that was one of the signs that once I saw that, I mean, I really thought, he's here. He's here. And I'm going to show you another one. Sue Frederick. She is the numerologist, the numerology that we've had her speak many times. She's absolutely amazing. But Sue, we had met for lunch, and it was right before the conference, and she went home and she said she was in her room, and she said, I had my hands up, and I was thanking the kids for including me and letting me be a part of this conference. And she said, all of a sudden her Ring doorbell went off. And when she looked at the camera, she said, I saw this orb. And she said, and when I really looked at it, I saw a face. So she sent a few of us, I think Elizabeth, a few of us, the picture of the face, and she said, whose face do you see? And I don't know if you could see it, but I immediately said, Sue, that's Tyler. And you could see his face. I mean, the nose, I don't know. To me, it is so obvious. It's like the upper part. And here's I don't know. I mean, I think it's clear. So I hope you can all see it, but you know, here's Tyler, and it's kind of like looking at this of him. So it looks like about this part of his face. So he has a great way of making himself known. And then lastly, as Elizabeth was saying, Tyler, I wish I could have found that text with the smiley face, because that, I don't know why, out of everything I saved, why that one doesn't appear. But TJ was home. TJ was home visiting, and I had gone to work early, and he was still asleep. So while I was driving, he called me and he said, Mom, and he sounded really intense, almost like he was mad, and I didn't really understand, but I realized he wasn't mad. He was just intense. He said, what did you do to the dog's food bowl? And I thought he was talking about his dog's food bowl, because he had his dog with him. And I said, I didn't do anything. you like to feed your own dog. And he said, no, I'm not talking about my dog's food bowl. I'm talking about Harley's. And Harley's my little Yorkie that I got 8 months after Tyler passed away. He was, I highly recommend that just animals, they just, they're so healing, and they just provide so much unconditional love. But I said, he said, no, I'm talking about Harley's bowl. And I said, I didn't do anything. He said, nothing. And I said, I put some dog food in it. And he started to freak out. He said, oh my God, Tyler is messing with us. And I said, what? And he goes, I just got to send you a picture. So here is what he sent me. And oh my goodness, I will tell you, we talked about this. The whole family talked about this. We started sharing this picture with everybody. There it is, his little smiley face. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy how powerful they are in the things that they can do. I mean, I would have never, that's why I don't even like to share with people outside of the group, because they think I'm crazy. And I know I'm not, but I think I don't need to prove it to them. I don't need to, but I love to share it with, those who call me. I love to share it with everybody in here because it helps. I mean, there's so much proof. And I always say, I don't know everything, but I know with 100% certainty that our kids are right beside us. And that I know. I mean, that it's, in fact, everything I talk about, pretty much I feel like I know. But I guess I should use the word believe, but I know that our kids are right there and they are not gone. And it gets, time does soften, and it does make it easier. And as we understand and as we open up to them, we can find a lot of joy and a lot of happiness and still live an amazing life.
Well, I just wanted to say about the beautiful smiley face, that was the way that Tyler ended all of his messages, his text messages to you. So that was really, really important to you because of that. And I think you said something about that in the beginning, but I just wanted to make sure everybody realized that was such a huge sign from Tyler. And we only have about a minute left. Is there any way that you could give us some tips on how to connect with our kids and what the best ways that you found to heal are, and just let us know a little bit more about how you got to be where you are right now.
Again, it was read. Try everything, automatic writing, the pendulum, help others, connect with other people in helping parents heal, especially, if you're new on the journey. It's great if you can connect with somebody who is happy, because they will help show the way. But the meditation, the meditation was really big for me, because, and it always gave me that, hope that I could see him again, because I think, people, we miss them physically and we always will, but just knowing that, hey, I'm not waiting until I die. I could see him, I'll meditate, I'll hug him. And that helped me tremendously. I do not think of Tyler, and he's, people say, what do you say when somebody says, how many kids do you have? I say, I have 2 kids. And and I do have 2 kids. He's here. And if they say, oh, well, what are, and I have no problem saying, well, my youngest son is, he's on the other side, and I can talk about it. I don't cry. I just say, and helping others, truly being a part of helping parents heal has changed my life. And I can't even imagine not having this family. They have Elizabeth, Irene, all of my friends that I have connected with, they have just, I don't know, I feel complete. I feel complete when I'm with all these people. There's just, I'm fulfilled, I'm complete. And I just make those connections, help people, and meditate, read,
Oh.
learn about the afterlife.
So beautiful. Thank you, Carol. Oh my gosh. We just love you. I just love you. I love your husband. I feel the same way as you do. I feel so blessed to call so many of you my friends. And well, like I say, we have a family. All of us here in Helping Parents Heal, we're all family. So thank you.
Exactly. And we're going to ask everybody to unmute and say thank you and good evening to Carol. And thank you guys for being with us. And we'll definitely see you next week.
See you next week. Have a
Thank
good
you
weekend.
all so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you,
Thank
Carol.
Love
Thank you,
you.
Carol.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks, Doris.